Hey guys, it's me Kevin, and today I'm going to be doing another AFL tipping video. For round 22, we're almost at the end of the season. 11 teams still in contention for the top 8. Well, 10 teams, well, although it could be more 12, just depending on what perspective you put it in. Anyway, so let's get into the video. So to start off the round, we head to the MCG on Friday night where Melbourne play Sydney. This is a tough one, two of the most out-of-form teams in the competition. Well, plus Gold Coast. But I'm tipping Melbourne for a few reasons. One, it's at the MCG. So obviously Melbourne have the advantage over Sydney. But the main important reason why I tipped Melbourne was because unlike Sydney, who's getting flogged in every game they play, Melbourne, they're in it, and then they fade out later. But when you're taking a team who's in it and then fades out versus getting flogged, you tip fade out. So that's why I'm tipping Melbourne. Saturday afternoon at Marvel Stadium, Carlton versus St Kilda. Another very tough one. It's Daniel Teague, who has been just appointed, David Teague, who has just been appointed as coach for Carlton. I'm not sure if that was a great choice. Versus Brett Ratton, who is trying to get a spot at St Kilda's coach. I'm tipping Carlton because they'll want to play, get their first official win under David Teague. And also, Carlton, 2 honourable losses, but apart from that, they've had some pretty good wins. St Kilda, they're good as well under Ratton, 3-1. But I do think Carlton, now they're playing an average St Kilda side. I say average because they are in the average rungs. Then I think Carlton will win. Also on Saturday afternoon at the Gabba, Brisbane versus Geelong. Well, Geelong, it's like with them ever since the bye. They win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And they won last week, so now they're due for a loss. Brisbane have won 8 straight, hoping to make it 9 straight against Geelong, and it's at home. Now, Brisbane will be hoping to knock off Geelong and try and get in the top spot for the first time this season, this weekend. And I think given that it's at the Gabba, there'll be a strong home crowd, and it's against Geelong, who haven't been that great as of recent, especially outside of the category. I think Brisbane will knock Geelong off and claim the top spot. Whether they hold it on against Richmond, I'm not sure, but they'll definitely be on top. Saturday twilight at Adelaide Oval, Adelaide versus Collingwood. Adelaide, well, they had an honourable loss last week against the Eagles, just missed out by 10 points against the side that probably has one of the best home fortresses in the competition. Against Collingwood, who have won their last 2 games against the bottom 2 teams, but haven't exactly won a good quality game of football since they played West Coast. And apart from that, their last good win was all the way back in round 10. Their only other win in that time was against the Bulldogs. And then, well, obviously they had those 2 really dumb wins against 2 of the worst sides. So I think it's going to be Adelaide against a flat track bully Collingwood side that wins, because Adelaide will be fighting for their lives. They've got more to lose than Collingwood do. I mean, Collingwood have a top 4 spot to lose, but Adelaide have a top 8 spot to lose. And if they bring that performance they did last week and bring it in to beat Collingwood at home, I think Adelaide will win. Now on Saturday night, North Melbourne versus Port Adelaide. North Melbourne, shocking. I don't know why they appointed Reece Shaw before the season's end, because I'm tipping Port Adelaide to win. Well, for one, they haven't lost to them in 8 years, so I don't expect that to happen anytime soon, considering North Melbourne had just come off their worst loss in their history in terms of their lowest score. Port Adelaide, probably one of their best performances of the season last week, and then another one of their best against Essendon. So they've won their last 2 games by quite a bit, and I think they'll go to Marvel Stadium and beat one of the teams they love playing against, and will notch a win off from there. And that is why I think Port Adelaide will make finals. On Saturday night, Fremantle versus Essendon at Optus Stadium. Well, I'm going to go Fremantle because Essendon decimated with injuries. Essendon have played garbage in the last 2 weeks. 104 points against the Bulldogs and 60 points against Port Adelaide. Both of them are at home. Then they go to Optus Stadium and play Fremantle, who generally play well in Optus. Fremantle also trying to keep their top 8 hopes alive, even though they're almost diminished against Saints, although they've got one last roll at the dice, and that's why I think Freo will win. It's also at Optus Stadium, and also they're farewelling Aaron Sandlands and Hayden Ballantyne, and potentially Ross Lyon. No, I'm kidding. So that's why I'm tipping Fremantle. Sunday afternoon at the MCG, Richmond versus West Coast. Unfortunately, I have to tip Richmond. Why? It's because even though West Coast have won their last 7 at the MCG, they're playing Richmond, who haven't lost at the MCG since it was earlier in the year. I'm not going to think on the top of my head, but they haven't lost at the MCG for a while now. And I feel like Richmond, because they haven't lost since they played Adelaide all the way back in round 13, haven't lost since the bye. West Coast, they're only just winning at the moment. It's not as if they're having any great wins. It's like minimum winning, whilst Richmond, they're blasting it. They're blasting it out a bit more. So that's why I think Richmond will beat West Coast at the G. Sunday afternoon at Giants Stadium, GWS versus the Western Bulldogs. This is another tough one. GWS just got flogged and they're decimated with injuries, whilst the Bulldogs, they're playing well, although they did lose to Brisbane. And I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm tipping the Bulldogs because GWS decimated with injury. Not sure who they're getting back, but if they get a few good players back, then I might change my tip to the Giants. But at the moment, the Bulldogs fighting for a top 8 spot. GWS just seem like they're fading out right now. They're like flat track bullies at the moment. So yeah, I'm going a bit stupid and I'm tipping the Western Bulldogs. And lastly, on Sunday afternoon at Marvel Stadium, Hawthorn versus Gold Coast. Well, you know if anyone's playing Gold Coast, then it's basically a free win. So Hawthorn are the team of the week that gets a free win. 3-4 points. That's a good deal, isn't it? So, to recap my tips, I am tipping Melbourne, Carlton, Brisbane, Adelaide, Port Adelaide, Fremantle, Richmond, Western Bulldogs, and Hawthorn are the team that get the free win. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Please give it a like. Please subscribe. Please comment what you think of my video down below and comment your tips. View my other videos and please share them with other people. And as always, I'll see you next week. Bye.